Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me. So let's get into it. Midoriya Izuku. Midoriya isn't really one to usually do things like that. Most of the time, he would do things in, well, a rule-abiding manner. If he was not supposed to come to your dorm room at night, then he wouldn't. Unless of course necessary. He didn't know what necessary would entail exactly, until a situation had presented itself in front of him, and he had to make a decision. He did not expect you to call him late at night, startling him from his sleep, and for him to wake up to 10 messages from you, telling him to come to your dorm room quickly. Could you really blame him for assuming the worst and going to you as soon as possible, even risking being found out? Just because he thought that you were in pain or someone was hurting you, that maybe a villain got to your room. He doesn't know how that would be possible without the alarms ringing. But maybe they went in undetected. And there were many scenarios in his head. None of them are good. But when he finds out that you have the lights open and you're sitting alone in the room, he tilts his head, slowly calming down from the panic attack that he had. Oyan? So, why did you text me? Midoriya, please don't be upset with me, but I was feeling a little bit scared. You say, blushing brightly as you look down. You feel a little bit ashamed. After all, you were supposed to be a hero. You did hero work with him. And yet, some silly nightmare could scare you and make you not want to sleep alone, getting you to call Midoriya, wake him up, and make him come to your dorm room. After all, you needed him, and he told you to never hold back when you needed him for something. So you didn't want to, as you promised him. You still felt a little bit guilty, though, getting him to come to your room that late in the night. But Midoriya, he seemed a little bit relaxed and relieved that there was in fact no villain in your room, and went ahead to hug you. It's alright, Ryan. Don't be upset. I'm just glad that you're okay. But as for now, well, do you want to talk about it? You shake your head, and he understands that you're not obliged to. So, he sits by your side, turns on the TV and puts on your favorite show, and then kisses your cheek. I'm just going to get some snacks, and I'll be right back. No, Izuku. Just stay. I need you. And he feels a little bit sad that the nightmare made you so upset and scared. But he nods, getting it underneath the blanket, wrapping his arms around you, and cuddling you close. And Ida does catch you and confronts him about it. But once he tells him that you were having a nightmare and that it was bad, he couldn't leave you alone. Ida understands. You deserve someone by your side. So, he will just let it slip through, this time alone. Bakugou Katsuki. Now, Katsuki was not the most romantic person around. Not the most sympathetic either. But he tried. And I mean he really did. He did not want you to be disappointed with him in any way. He wanted to be good enough for you. He wanted to be able to satisfy you in one way or another. And if that meant doing things that he would think uncharacteristic of himself, then he was willing to make that sacrifice for the greater good, which was your happiness, of course. Maybe he was hesitant about what he was doing, but he knew that it mattered in the end. And that's what really counted, you know? Even if it meant that he was sneaking out into your dorm room. And it was way past 8 p.m. which was way past his bedtime. And he did not like that. He did not like either of those things. But he was willing to do a lot for you. Especially when you called him, telling him that you were scared and needed him by your side. He was worried what launched you into such thoughts and what made you so afraid. But he was not going to ask that on the phone. What mattered now was that he had to get to you. And as soon as he was in your dorm room, he saw you huddled underneath your blanket, and he let out a soft sigh. Now, what is it? What's scaring you? Nothing. I mean, there is something scaring me, but it's too embarrassing, okay? Just stay here and not ask. You expect me to stay here and not ask a thing? I could go back to my own dorm room, you know. Eventually, you find yourself giving in and telling him exactly what you were scared of. And if he laughed at you a lot, then you were going to ignore it. You needed him right now, and you certainly did not have enough leverage or anything to just get him to stay in your own dorm. So you had to be quiet and very teasing for a while. But he was actually quite nice. Besides that, he wrapped an arm around your waist, stroking your hair gently. It's alright, Ryan. There's no need to be scared now. I'm right here. I know. Do you think we could turn on a movie and watch it while we sleep? And when he shook his head, he pouted. But he did make up for it by taking you into his arms and cuddling you. We're both gonna sleep. Besides, you've got nothing to worry about. I'm right here. It's not like anyone can hurt you now. He was right about that. You felt incredibly safe with him, so you couldn't actually deny what he said. So, you let your eyes close and melted into his arms, a soft sigh soon leaving your lips as you drifted off into sleep. Maybe you were being a scaredy cat, and maybe you deserved all the teasing. But what mattered is that in the end, he came over to you and didn't let you stay alone.